All right. So welcome everybody to this crazy and interesting and challenging and fun event, PowerPoint Karaoke. Today we've got 5 speakers, great speakers. And the only problem is that they will need to give or improvise a presentation from a slide deck they've never seen before. So it's going to be a bit challenging for them, but very fun. Now, let me see. I see lots of familiar faces, and many of you are with the webcam on, which is great. For the others, now you don't have to, of course, but if you feel like it, if you like to turn your webcam on, especially if you're dressed in these parts of your body, that would be fantastic. If we want to have a good connection with each other, it would help me, it would help you. If you want to have a better experience today, it will help our speakers today. Again, you don't have to, but if you feel like it, that would be fantastic. And here is how today is going to work. Very simple. We've got 5 speakers. Each speaker is going to improvise a very short 5-minute presentation. And then as you watch the presentations, please pay attention. And I would like then, I'm going to ask everybody to share your feedback in the chat. So after each speaker, we've got some time for you to share your feedback. And there is no, when it comes to feedback, as long as it's constructive feedback, there is no good or bad idea. There's no stupid idea. Feel free to share your ideas in the chat. I'm going to give you more information about that in a second. After that, after the 5 speakers, I'm going to launch a poll. We're going to select the winner. There are a few prizes that I'm going to share with all of you, and then we'll wrap it up. Very simple. Now, rules of the game with our speakers, you know them already. Let me know if you have any last-minute questions, but for everybody's benefit, the way it works is that I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to advance the slides on behalf of each speaker. We've got 10 slides for each of them. And again, they just need to try and improvise and find the connections between one slide and the next. And in terms of feedback for everybody, here is what I would like you to do. As you watch the presentations, write down either on a piece of paper or maybe on your laptop, whatever it is that you have in front of you, write down either one thing you really liked about that presentation, or maybe one thing that you think that speaker can improve. And of course, your feedback is what you think. It's based on your own awareness. Just to give you some ideas, you could base your feedback not, of course, on the content, because the speakers have no idea whatsoever about what they're going to talk about today. So you can't base your feedback on that. But you could base your feedback on their improvisation skills. You could base your feedback on their fluency, or maybe on their delivery skills, things like posture, gestures, voice, eye contact, all the body language, all these kind of things. You could also base your feedback on whether or not our speakers today find ways to make it entertaining, to make it fun. From a practical perspective, for example, and this is also for our speakers, today, you don't have to, of course, but if you find a way to, as you improvise your presentation, if you find ways to interact with the audience, to also improvise some quick moments of interaction with the audience, that, from my perspective, in terms of feedback, would be a huge plus. Okay. In terms of speaker lineup, I think we have in the chat. So we're going to start with Maxine. Our 5 speakers today are Maxine, Cam, Toby, Adrian, and Kieran. And for our speakers, feel free to share your links, LinkedIn, whatever you think may help. Feel free to do that. We are going to get started with Maxine. Now, before we do get started, especially for our speakers, do we have any questions, any last minute open points? All good? Yeah. Okay, perfect. And before we start with Maxine, so Maxine, get ready. Now, I see a lot of familiar faces, but for those of you who don't know me, just a super quick intro from my side. My name is Andrea. I'm the founder of a company called Ideas on Stage UK. I'm a presentation coach. We specialize in working with business owners, leaders, and the teams who want to become the best presenters in the industry. In the last 12 years, we've worked with thousands of clients around the world, including companies like Microsoft, Lacoste, the World Bank, and more than 500 TEDx speakers. Our mission is to stop great ideas from failing just because of the way they are presented. And our vision is to help hundreds of thousands of business leaders share their message so they can grow their business, increase their influence, and make a positive impact in the world. And that's it. Enough about me. We are here for this event, PowerPoint Karaoke. So, Maxine, what do you think? Shall we get started? Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah,
perfect.
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, let's go. So, just give me a second because I need to make sure that we don't go long. So, I'm going to just take 5 minutes. All right. So, Maxine, from now on, whenever you want, feel free to go.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Maxine Crow, and live breaking news today. Let's see what's going on. Oh gosh, thank you for everything that you've provided us in that broadcast for the live breaking news. I guess it was something about Boris getting into trouble again with Parliament, and Mr. Pincher doing some the chief whip doing some things inappropriately. But thank you for sharing that with us. Oh my gosh, go paperless. So experiencing copious amounts of printing. We're out of the offices now, so can you just imagine what it would be like if you had to print everything at home? You really need to invest in digital technology because it really helps with saving the environment, sustainability. Look at how many trees that you can save if you end up going paperless. And I really want to thank you for that. Oh my gosh, so before COVID, we'd go on holiday. There was no queues. Before COVID, you could freely hug, kiss, fist bump your mates. Before COVID, oh my gosh, we didn't have masks. You didn't have to wear masks. Before COVID, we were free to literally just do whatever we wanted. Unfortunately, now we have all these various restrictions. Urban life is on the rise. Okay, so I think I'm stuck on this one. Urban life, cities on the rise. Oh my gosh. So mobile phones and traveling. No one talks or interacts with anyone anymore. This is a great opportunity to connect with people. Just say hi when you're on the train instead of actually working or doing whatever you do on your phone. That's kind of all I've got to say about that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you've shown up today. 90% of success is showing up. So thank you all for being here and showing up. Oh my gosh, I don't know what else to say about this slide. African tracking system, oh my gosh. Okay, so creating jobs published, job boards, job applications received. Okay, so tracking systems are absolutely brilliant for if you're in a recruitment position and you want to actually keep a track on your applicants that are submitting for job roles. This is just a methodology that we use to present and to track our recruits. Limitless, our potential, anything that you want to actually achieve in your life, your roles, your ambitions, the sky's the limitless. The sky's the limit. There's no limit to anything that you want to achieve. There's no limit to any salaries that you want to earn. There's no limit to the amount of dog walkers in the morning who don't pick up their dog poo. It's really annoying, especially when you're running along and you accidentally have to look and you nearly tripping it. Diversity inclusion. So this is really about ensuring that you are being diverse. And this could be any colour, creed, LGBT, women, businesses. Diversity and inclusion is really a platform for us to show no discrimination to disabilities and to anyone who is not like yourself. High quality. So no matter what we do, we need to ensure that our presentations, how we show up every day, is of a high quality. The services that we provide to others, that's what I'm going to say about that one. It just needs to be great. It just needs to be absolutely fantastic, and raise your standards if you feel that they are not where you want them to be. Thank you. Done,
Maxine. Yeah. It's done. It's not, now you can breathe. Now you can breathe. Round of applause for Maxine. So I'll get to you, Maxine, in a second, but then just out of curiosity, as I said, everybody, if you've noticed anything, again, it could be something that you really liked about Maxine's approach, delivery, presentation, or maybe if you've got something, any pieces of feedback for improvement, please feel free to type it in the chat. But I'm curious, from your perspective, Maxine, what do you think? Tell us more about this experience. There are some people today who also applied to speak at the event, but then it was not possible. So they are interested in giving it a try. How did it go? Yeah. What do you think?
So the first slide about the breaking news, when I think back, I should have actually just said something that was breaking news or just made something up instead of it, just because I was expecting when he said breaking news, something else to show up, but nothing did. So it's about learning to actually, it is improvising and just thinking on the spot and then just delivering something that is of value to your audience and something that will benefit them.
Great. and David says positive and cheerful. Also, Kieran, lovely, warm energy throughout. Yeah, absolutely. And also, John, how did you just keep going? And yeah.
This is my natural disposition. I am quite a high energy, I just love life and positivity, and just throwing that out there and sending that vibe to everybody that I can get a chance to do. So
you know what, Maxine, when we put together the slides, then sometimes what happens is because we don't then have the actual experience as we've seen now. Even from our perspective, we don't even realize how difficult it can be to actually do. Maybe we just know that the slides are not connected, but then as a speaker, it becomes very challenging. But you've done an amazing job. Thank you very much, Maxine. It's done. And now we have, who was the second speaker? Alice, can you remind me? Yeah, Cam. Yes, perfect. Cam, are we good to go?
I'm good to go.
All right, fantastic. So then let me make sure that we've got our 5 minutes. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, come.
Good morning, everyone. As your only Canadian speaker on the panel today, I am so happy to be here. Investors in the crowd, I want you to come out of this conversation with a positive attitude. If everyone can just open up the chat for just 1 minute, please. Just open up the chat on the bottom. I want you to put your favorite emoji in there. Everyone's got a favorite emoji. I'm going to join in and add mine as well here. It's the ta-da symbol. Frankly, I am so surprised that Andre invited me here today to speak to you. He invested with me on a lifetime supply of peanut butter, and then he ate it. I don't even know what to do now. But today we're not talking about NFTs. We're not talking about Web 3.0. We're not talking about cryptocurrency. We're talking about back to the office. And I'm going to tell you what your investment opportunity is today. Next slide, please. Let's get this going. Do you see this? Online videos. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Investing in content creators. Are you a content creator yet? No, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be good on video to be good at investing in content creators. Haven't you opened up YouTube lately? TikTok, maybe? There's tons of people there who are just waiting for your money. And I'm here to give you that solution. How do you do it? Let's pull up the next slide and I'll show you exactly how that's done. Bam. Self-development. The skills you need to improve your life. Your bank account. Haven't you ever seen those people dancing on TikTok? That is a money opportunity just waiting to happen, waiting for your bank account to grow. Think of all the self-development things that you can do. How do you get started? Let me tell you right now. Next slide, please. And we're going to show you this opportunity here. Bam. Start off from the top. What's our brand? Where do we go to get our designs and our logos done here? Fall down the rest, because you know what? Those TikTokers, those people in the industry right now, they have no idea what you're doing. We're going to invest in them. We're going to put some money towards them, and we're going to get them up on their top 10 TikTokers, and all that marketing money, all that advertising bucks, all comes right back to us. See? So how did I get started in this? How did I figure out that opportunity? Let me show you right now. Andrea, next slide, please. Bam. Face-to-face. That's what we're doing right now. Forget this online business. I will fly to the UK. I think most people in the crowd right now are in the UK. And I challenge you, I will fly there right now. I will take your bucks. I will take your pounds. I'll put them in the bank account and we'll see it grow. Just watch it. We'll watch this grow through our investment through these online contributors. What are we going to do? Who's the first person that we're going to invest in? Next slide, please. And I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. Jokes, right? Jokes. First, we got to check their background. I don't want any like teeny bopper kind of just pure dancing and anything like that. I want people who are really going to, a return on investment. No more of this, just kind of doing what we want. Okay, next slide. Now I'm serious. I didn't prepare the slides. This is the guy. Don't you see him? He can be happy. He can be sad. It doesn't matter. He just lifts those cardboards up and down. This is a money-making opportunity. Right here, the Great Pretender is his name. #1 in the charts. He is going to be able to, skyrocket to #1. All those advertising bucks. Think of it. Microsoft wants to invest in him. Google wants to invest in this guy. The Great Pretender. Here we are. Who's someone else that we could bring on? Next slide, please. Let's see who else we've got in our roster right now. The man who forgot to shut the door. Haven't you seen this guy? Haven't you seen? If you're not following the man who forgot to shut the door on TikTok right now, you're going to watch this guy. He gets hit with sticks. He scratches his head. He just keeps rolling. This guy, #1, best person to invest in right now. Don't you want those pounds? Don't you want those bucks? They're going to come right into your wallet when you invest. Maybe I got someone else. Maybe we got someone else that we can invest in. Here, next slide, please. Let's see who else we got. Mindset. Mr. Mindset. Look at those eyes. Wouldn't you put your money in those eyes? Those eyes are steely gaze right at you, right at the people who are watching TikTok, who are watching all these socials. He's got the big bucks. This face is $1 million face right here. And all this money come right back to you. So how do you get started? Next slide, please. I'm going to show you exactly how to get started. We're going to go to Asia. Asia's where it's at. No one's investing in Asia right now, and we are going to go there just south of the Sian Mountains. We're going to go and put our money here. So here's what we're going to do. My name is Cam Beaudoin. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow me on TikTok, and put your money where your mouth is. Just watch this. Watch your bank account grow. Thanks very much.
Wow. Wow, Cam. Round of applause. How did you do that?
I rehearsed. I got prepared. No, I got prepared because I had a friend open up random slides and they went one-on-one. And what we came down with, and after watching a few improvisation YouTube videos too, was just, you have to set up the next slide. I don't know what's going to show up, but neither does anybody else. So just by setting up the next slide and going all into it, like, where are we investing in at the end? And then Asia showed up. Like, I don't know what's going to come up, but you just got to roll with it no matter what. You got to set something up, go all in, because you're discovering it. You're discovering the next slide, just like everyone else.
John mentioned this in his comments. He said ingenious way of setting up the next slide, and yeah, that was brilliant. Brilliant, fun, like entertaining. You also included a moment of interaction at the beginning, and you see this idea of rehearsing, practicing. Of course, you couldn't rehearse the content because by definition today it's impossible. But you told us that you practice at least the kind of game or activity that we're playing today, and that helps.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that interaction at the very beginning, that's my go-to with all presentations now, since 90% of all presentations now on Zoom and whatever. We all know where the chat is. And I just say, put your favorite emoji in there. Everyone has a favorite emoji. Everyone's got that little interaction. And it really is a nice icebreaker. Instead of asking 2 minutes in or 3 minutes in, I just get everyone started like that. And also does a quick sound check for me too. It's really worked well for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you do that, then the audience, they are there with you. They're listening to you. They're not, every time they do something, even if it's as simple as typing something in the chat, they're listening to you as the presenter.
Yeah, exactly.
Great, fantastic. And now let's move on to our third speaker, Toby Trimble. Toby, you ready? Feel free to unmute.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. So again, our 5 minutes. Shall we go, Toby?
Absolutely. Let's go for it. Good afternoon, everybody. So great to have you here. Before we get started, I would love to know from you in the chat, let me know from 1 to 10, how intimidating would you find it to give a PowerPoint where you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen? Because today, as part of what we're going to talk about, we're going to look at what it's like to be someone who's giving a PowerPoint presentation and has no idea. So what's the behind the scenes like? And at the moment, my brain is thinking, okay, I've got a slide here about the recruitment selection process. I could talk about CVs. I could talk about people getting recruited. But you know what? I don't really know much about that. And the most important thing is that right now, I talk about something that's probably going to be entertaining, that's going to be interesting. And most importantly, sets up my next slide, please. And really, my fuel at the moment is feeling really full. I've got to temper what I do and make sure that that lasts a long amount of time, that lasts, my fuel will last the whole amount of time through this presentation. I don't want to get to slide 5 and starting to flag, and by slide 7 starting to feeling like I'm going to start to fall apart. One of the things that you could do in a presentation like this is you could advertise, and you know what, that's cool. If you want to hit me up on LinkedIn, it's in the chat. Have a look, check out my profile. We make education that's more like Netflix and less like PowerPoint. Sorry, Andrea. So really, there are many things that we can consider with advertising and what that's about. But for me, the thing you probably want to know is, what am I experiencing right now? Well, I've gone through the first minute or two of what I was going to say, and I don't really know what to say next. So I'm going to look at my next slide. And it's important that we have the small steps are the way that we're going to get to the end of our goal. We're going to take each slide as it comes, and we're going to move forward. What I like about what you said in the chat earlier is that some of you said, hey, do you know what? I would find it a little bit stressy. Some of you said, do you know what? I wouldn't do too much. Some of you mentioned that you found that what I do as education, looking more at Netflix and less like PowerPoint, that sounds interesting. And you can find out about that on my LinkedIn. The next slide is going to really talk about smartphones. Props, like this smartphone. You know what? Smartphones are great, but they're also very good at dragging our attention away. I found recently when I stopped using my phone quite as much that I was able to concentrate much more. And I found that very, very, very difficult to put it down. But you know what? I'm in a much better place because of that. So let's check in. How am I feeling? Moment, my heart rate, the data, my heart rate, for about 98, a little bit higher than normal. Sat in a chair, shouldn't be this high. Sweating, definitely. And overall, I'm enjoying this, but a little bit scary. I would say arousal levels, probably about 7 or 8. Let me know in the chat. Would you consider doing this? Yes, no, maybe? Let me know. What would you think? Next slide, please, Andrea. Let's be honest. As Cam said earlier, this is an opportunity to sell, sell, sell. But does it have to be? Could it just be about telling people about the work that we do, the other things that we do in our work? It's more about getting people to see what we do and like the people we are. I'm not sure it's so much about sales, but on our next slide, what we're going to see is we're going to see that there is a certain amount of having to be yourself. It's not about the mask. The mask here we have is a neutral mask. It's something that my colleague John Robbins uses very much when we're talking about how to emphasize who you are in your body. If you couldn't see my face, you could see that I was confident like this, or if I was like this, I might be feeling unconfident. And the neutral mask is a good way to show your body gestures and really allowing you to be yourself and project your emotion through your body. Next slide, please. As Cam said, investment. Investment is very important. And right now, I feel very invested in this presentation. Because for me, in this last few moments, what I want you to remember is that this is great fun. This is an opportunity to develop your presentation skills. And you might feel like you've had about 3 cups of espresso by the time you finish it. And in my final slide, I would like to show you one thought, that if you're feeling anxious about doing a presentation like this, then you're probably right, because you might feel anxious, but it's a great experience to learn and grow. And most importantly, get yourself out there. Thank you so much for watching.
Round of applause for Toby. Toby, I'm proud of you. Toby, I'm proud of you. That was great. You've done so many things, that you've used so many techniques that work really well in actual presentations when you know what you're talking about. Today, you were able to use those techniques even if you didn't know what you were talking about, which was amazing, like interacting with the audience. Also picking up from some of the comments in the chat. Going back to what the previous speaker said, Cam, also at the end, you slow down. What I want you to remember is this. Fantastic. What do you think, Toby? How did it go? To tell us more about your experience.
I can't believe you put Cam before me. Like that was like trying to follow like a fire juggling acrobat and realizing you were going to ride a unicycle.
But
I was crazy. Yeah, it was really good fun. I think I knew that I had an idea like Cam did, and I hope that no one else was going to do it, but I thought that people would be interested to know what it was like. So I thought, let's do something about the unknown. But yeah, it was great fun. It's quite hard. It is hard having to think and continue, but the next slide thing was a great way to do it.
One thing I liked about your approach, Toby, was that you sometimes and this could be useful also for Adrian, Kieran later, when you didn't know what to say, you just took some time to describe whatever it was that you had in your mind. You used some words to describe what you were thinking at the moment. And that, I guess, they helped you buy some time to think about what to say next.
Yeah, because some of the slides, I was like, what do I say here? And, you know, how do I make sure I don't say the wrong thing I'm going to regret here?
All right. Congratulations again, Toby. Fantastic. Much. And now it's Adrian's turn. Are we ready, Adrian? What do you think? Shall we do this? Feel free to unmute yourself, please. I can't, if you speak, yeah, now.
Got it.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So then, as always, let me make sure that we've got the timer. Shall we give it a try, Adrian?
Yes.
All right.
I guess so.
Let's go then.
Hi, I'm Adrian Massey. What a lot of hard acts to follow. I was seriously warned by one of my colleagues, and I have to thank him, who said, don't do it. Well, let's get started. Embracing different. Oh, whoa, embracing difference. I am very different to the rest of you, or I believe I am anyway, in that I suffer real nerves when it comes to these sorts of things. So today I started with some Nat Mur. It's a nice homeopathic product, which is good for calming you, topped up with a bit of rescue remedy and a bit of this. But here I am. Do I hate selling? Yes, I absolutely hate selling. Do you hate selling? I guess most of you probably don't. I am terrible at selling. I get in front of somebody and that feeling in the pit of my stomach just says, I don't know what to say next. No, I'm not a good salesperson at all, but you can overcome it. Oh, and manage multicultural teams. I have a very multicultural team in our company. We run a health and safety and employment law consultancy, and we have, oh gosh, I can't quite remember how many different countries our team of 35 come from, but all over the world I could pinpoint. And I'm one of those as well, because I come from New Zealand, which makes me just a little bit different to everybody else. The North Island, not the South Island, for somebody who I was talking to earlier. We all have obsessions. We all have obsessions. And, oh gosh, obsession leads sometimes, I think, to a resisting change. And change is something that you either love and you embrace and you say, yes, absolutely over the moon about the fact somebody's changed something. And other people who are very obsessed about keeping everything as it is will just shut themselves away. They'll crawl under the blankets and they'll cry. Just to finish on that one, the vicar down at our local church was saying the other day how very lucky everybody is to be wandering around in shorts and t-shirts and what have you, when he's wearing a costume that was designed in the 5th century. People are so obsessed with such things. More on the other side. Gosh. Well, I have an answer to that. Don't gut fish in the kitchen. I just wanted to have something prepared to say today if I got completely stuck. And don't gut fish in the kitchen is a good one because it stinks. I did it recently when I'd just been fishing. Oh, down in New Zealand, which is next to Australia. And poor Australia, poor Sydney, these days just undergoing most horrendous floods. People rescuing cows and sheep and horses and what have you, people's homes being flooded. It's absolutely horrendous. And then 5 minutes down the line, they'll have fires as well. But the 3 main effects of climate change we are seeing all over the place. And I've just seen in my garden well, actually it wasn't such a bad one, but our autumn raspberries flowered and fruited before our summer raspberries, which is completely bizarre. A superhero. A superhero. My husband is my superhero. I went out with him for 10 days, married him after 5 weeks, and next year we'll have been married for 40 years. He's my superhero. Have you got one? I bet you have. Pop it in the chat. Go on. Who's your superhero? I can't see the chat properly. Your partner, Dr. Strange. Excellent, excellent. Iron Man. Great. Okay. It's time to update. Time to update ourselves on things that are really, really important to us. Time to reflect on what really matters. Time to de-stress by not worrying about the stuff that's going on elsewhere, but to look at that old prayer that says, that says, let us give, no, I won't stop. Let us embrace those things that we can change and let go of those things that we can't change. That is the most important thing in the world. But thank you, I'm going to stop there.
Adrian, congratulations. Congratulations. Adrian, I'm also very, very proud of you because you also told us, and you've been very open and you made it very personal. You told us that before a situation like this, and we've worked together before a presentation or a speaking opportunity, you tend to feel a bit nervous. There's a bit of the typical public speaking anxiety that we all feel at different levels. And the reason why I'm so proud of you is because you decided to do this today despite the nerves. despite the anxiety, which is the most important thing. How did it go? And before I'll get to you, sorry, Adrian, thank you so much to all participants today, because there are so many interesting comments in the chat. Please keep doing that for our final speaker as well. From your perspective, Adrian, tell us, how was your experience?
Nerve-wracking, because I'd listened to 4 absolutely great speakers, and that's a hard act to follow, especially if you're like I am and you do get really, really nervous. So yes, I do seriously take those remedies and what have you. I did get stuck at times. I'd prepared loads of stuff, little bits of it came up here and there, but I'm not very good at improvising, and I wanted to share so many things. But of course, as soon as I get a bit, they just go out the window. Your brain just goes flat, and
yeah.
Well, mine.
You see, one interesting thing, Adrian, is that you said that it was nerve-wracking. Now, Maxine says that you didn't sound nervous, and that's an important lesson for all of us, because often what we think, the way we think a presentation is going, as presenters, often is very different from what the audience thinks, and we need to be aware of that. So maybe you feel very nervous, but sometimes it is evident for the audience, but not all the time. So it's something to consider as well. Okay, Adrian, it's done. Again, thank you very much. Congratulations. And then we have our final speaker, Kieran, who, if you haven't watched them, Kieran makes a lot of very interesting videos on LinkedIn, and today is going to be something, it's going to be similar. Kieran is very much used to speaking on camera. The only difference today is that he doesn't know what he's going to talk about. So there's just a little difference that we need to consider. Kieran, good to go?
As good as I'll ever be.
All right, so again, the timer, whenever you want, we are good to go.
Hi everyone, my name's Kieran. I call myself a virtual finance director. I work with early stage companies as their FD. And today I'm going to share with you 10 random things that I've learned from working with early stage companies over the past 12 years. So I acronym what I do to VFD. So if you have a favorite acronym, whatever it may be, if you could stick it in the chat bar, I'd love to know what is your favorite acronym. ABC, easy one. I think Andrea is selling his course. Also disguises a few other words that you can say, like FFS and FML. Oh, they're also clean. Smart, score, view. I think Cam needs to, stimulate, an 8-letter, 9-letter. Bog off, exactly. Right, so today I'm going to share 10 random things. We've already moved on to number 3. I work with a really diverse bunch of early stage companies. Some of them are in the space of trying to sell their product and have had some successes doing so. But the ones that really take the leap of faith into this new emerging market is influencers. So you think your product's great, but if you get the right person in the right environment on the right social feed with your product, what you're expecting to do is see a return on the investment of spending £100,000 with Kendall Jenner is going to result in £1 million of sales coming through in the 24 hours following. My 4th lesson, I couldn't have made the slide up if I wanted to. Now, I work with companies that always start with a startup loss. Now, you'll hear people saying they've lost money, burning money. The reality is that most companies on the planet that start won't see a profit in year 1. They won't see a profit in year 2, maybe year 3 and year 4. So sometimes losses aren't as bad as they sound. They're just a result of you investing in you and your idea. Now, and investors love losses so long as the profits come afterwards. Next slide, data privacy. Well, we're in the space of, the world has changed. You know, we used to have this thing 15 years ago where you would just get loads of stuff in your inbox that would start to annoy you. And then companies became a bit more savvy and understanding not to bombard existing customers with spam, and also not to bombard new customers with spam. If a customer has a problem, it's great to offer the solution. But we live in a space that if you breach the rules, not only will customers or prospect customers get annoyed with you, you might actually end up where you get legal letters and breaching rules actually could become very expensive to fix. Next up, well, my main focus on early stage companies is that you can have 1 founder, 2 founders, 4 founders. And as I describe it, most early stage companies I work with actually is like a second family. So if you picture it, family dinners, family arguments, family discussions, sometimes you will have somebody, you may have somebody in your family who actually just likes to poke other people and stoke problems, raise problems. In early stage companies, the same thing happens. You could have people who, just like a first date, they want to take the relationship forward, but at some stage, things do get to a point where people just have different views, and that's okay. You just need to have some way of actually managing through it. Next steps. I'm a big believer of this one. It's as if I've written this slide deck myself. The main thing about next steps in every business is not having a next step that you can't take. So some people will think, my next step is £1 million of revenue. The reality is the next step is never £1 million of revenue. The next step is actually the step that you can achieve today to get you on that path. So if you get one step followed by the next 1,000, at least you're on track to get to £1 million of revenue. Priorities, we're in the space of everyone has priorities. The world of finance, you've got priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Everyone's got to manage my priority list, your priority list. The reality is sometimes, especially as a middle-aged bloke, we're in a stage of just most of the things are not a priority. So I joke with people when I come to look at their finances for the first time. I don't want to big myself up like a paramedic, but I'm looking for A, is anyone on fire? Or B, where are the breathing bodies? Because in the world of finance, everything might seem like a priority on day one. The reality is that not everything is a priority. Safety first, interesting. Not quite sure what I want to say about this one. I mean, from my point of view, health and well-being is a massive issue for founders. Everybody thinks they're going to become a unicorn. Why did you start the company? Thinking possibly too big. The reality is that for you and the key people around you, you need to protect them, you need to look after them, because they're the people that are going to achieve the successes. And number 10, well, welcome to my world. Because I'm a virtual FD, I work with businesses, I have to plug into their environments. So just picture and be sympathetic with me for a moment. We're on Zoom. My next meeting after this is Google Meet. The meeting before this was Google Teams. I get so used to different chat bars. WebEx, just to make you laugh, I have one client that still uses WebEx. I would imagine that none of you have used WebEx in the past 10 years. Anyway, that's my lot. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear your feedback.
Round of applause for Kieran. Kieran, I don't know if this was, I think it was something that Toby said. Toby said in the chat, he looks like he's practiced with this deck. And it's true. Of course, I can promise you we were not aligned with Kieran, but I loved, I don't know whether that was your idea at the very beginning or whether you just improvised it on the spot. I loved how you found a way to find the connections on every slide to be able to talk about you and what you do in your company. Was that a last minute decision, or was this planned?
My inspiration is years ago. So my sister is 50, but when she was 18, in Ireland, when you do your school exam, you got to write an essay composition, and you get 12 suggested essay titles to write from. And one of the titles on her school exam was called Essay Titles. And she wrote her composition about this student being given the choice of 12 essay titles. Oh, I could say this, and I could write about that. And it was her get out of committing to any essay on that list was to write about someone in that scenario. And then they ran out of time and they screwed it up. And it's the one paper her English teacher has for years and still does 30 years later, shares it with kids to say, just try and think differently, even in the heat of a moment. Like, I'll be honest with you, my heart is kind of like pumping away here, but even in the heat of the moment, you can actually, I mean, I wouldn't say I improvise, but I find inspiring, like from my sister's experience, that actually you can just think slightly laterally. You can connect up an unexpected dot, I guess.
You did connect lots of dots today. So amazing. Again, Kieran, congratulations. Now what we are going to do before we close, we are going to select the winner. So I'm going to launch a poll. Everybody can vote. Also, you speakers, you can vote. Feel free to vote for yourself. If you want to, feel free to vote for somebody else. I trust everybody's judgment. And let me see, let me pull it up. So I'm going to launch the poll. Can you all say thumbs up if you can see the poll? Yeah, okay, so I'll give you a few seconds, go for it, and then I'm going to announce the winner. All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Now, the winner is, let me know in the chat, what do you think? Just type something in the chat. What do you think? Type some names in the chat. Okay, Maxine says come. David, maybe Toby. Toby, come says Toby. Toby says come. Maybe. The winner is come. Come, you're the winner. Congratulations, congratulations. Now we've got some prizes, and here is my little something for you, Come. I'm happy to, we've worked together already, but I'm happy to offer a complimentary coaching session. Feel free to take advantage of this session whenever you want. We can also discuss this, we can discuss it online. Now, for example, Come, if you have an important presentation coming up in the next few weeks or months, we can do a coaching session in preparation for that presentation. You don't have to have an actual presentation coming up. Maybe you've got some burning needs or questions. We can discuss it online, but happy to offer that. And
hey, thanks.
You're very welcome. And for the other speakers as well, this is something that some of you may have. I'm not sure if you don't have the actual copy of a book, Business Presentation Revolution, I'm going to send it to you. If you have it, then you can take it as a kind of gift of the gift. You can take the gift and you can share it with somebody else, a friend of yours. And by the way, let me see if it's in the chat. If not, Alice, if you don't mind including the link, this is like a little something for everybody, for all the participants today. You'll get access. It's either that, yes, the PDF copy of the book is in the chat now. So Business Presentation Revolution, if you click the link, you get free access, instant access to a book that was published last year, Business Presentation Revolution. And I hope that helps. Now, before we close, we just have a few minutes, just in case anybody's interested. Let me just take a couple of minutes just to tell you a little bit more about what we do at Ideas on Stage and how it might be able to help. It's very simple. Most business leaders struggle to present their ideas effectively. And so at Ideas on Stage, we've created a coaching program that helps you present a compelling message. It's a program that helps you become a more confident presenter, one of the best presenters in your industry. When you present a compelling message, your audience takes action and your business grows. Or if you're not running a business anyway, your audience understand your ideas, they believe in them, they agree with them, they remember them. And so your level of influence, your reputation, your credibility, all of these things become much easier. So if this speaks to you, and if you'd like to learn a little bit more, right now I have an opportunity for 3 complimentary consultations to see if there's a fit between what you may be looking for and what we have to offer. The consultations are not for everybody. This is only for established business owners and leaders who are motivated to take their presentation skills to a higher level, and we're also ready to take action to make it happen, either for themselves or for their colleagues, for their teams. And regardless of whether or not there's a good fit, I can promise you that if you attend the consultation, you'll walk away with a much greater clarity on how you can become a more confident presenter. Again, either for you or for your teams. And you'll also walk away with the physical copy of the book, business presentation revolution. So if you're interested, all you need to do, just type yes in the chat. I see lots of yeses already in the private chat. Up to you. You can express your interest privately. You can express your interest in the public chat. Just to clarify though, if you type yes, first of all, you're not committing to anything. You're just expressing your interest. And also, that doesn't mean that we'll go ahead with a consultation. If you type yes, that means that I know that you would like to learn a little bit more. I'll get in touch to see if you qualify quickly. And then if that's the case, we'll go ahead and have a chat. And also, if you've never seen this tool, the link again will be in the chat. Check it out, the Confident Presenter Scorecard. It's an online tool that you can use to very quickly assess your presentation skills. It takes less than 3 minutes. It's online, it's free. You just need to answer a few questions and you'll get a score, what that score means for you, and it also identifies opportunities for improvement. So again, check it out. And that's it. Let me see, we've got a few minutes to close. And from my side, if there's one thing I would really like you to take away from this event is this. Last year was the first edition of this event, PowerPoint Karaoke. And one of the speakers, Julia, when she applied to speak at the event, she told me, I want to do this. And maybe this is connected to your motivation as well, Adrian, I don't know. But one of the speakers last year told me, I want to do this because this is part of my policy at the moment to do things that scare me. And I loved the approach. Sometimes if we want to get better at anything, we do need to do things that scare us. And what our 5 speakers have done today can be seen and can be scary. Presenting sometimes can be scary. Presenting sometimes can be uncomfortable. And it's definitely not a natural thing to do. If you think about the idea of communicating with a group of people, either online, face-to-face, this is not a natural thing to do. And also, some time ago, I was reading a book on how to improve my writing because I've got this crazy idea to write a book as well. So let's see what happens. But I was reading this book and the author said something which is very much connected to the main idea behind this event. He said that if you want to become great at writing, first you need to be good. You can only be great at something once you are good at that particular thing. And if you want to be good at writing, first you need to be bad. And if you want to be bad at writing, first you need to try. So you try, maybe the first time you write an article or a book, it's bad. We keep trying and then we become good. We keep trying and we become great. And if you think about it, the same thing applies with many other skills, including presentation skills, public speaking, communication. And that's what our speakers have done today. They tried. And from my perspective, I can say that all of them, they were great just because they tried. They were great just because they tried. And that's my invitation to you. My invitation to all of you is to try, to take any opportunity to give this a try. And remember, you try it out, you give a presentation, maybe the next presentation is not necessarily a great one. I don't want to say they can be bad, but sometimes it happens. Maybe it's not relevant to the audience. Maybe it doesn't help you achieve your objective. That's fine. You keep trying and you become good. You keep trying and you become great. That's my invitation to you. Thank you very much, everybody, our speakers, our participants. Remember, at Ideas on Stage, we try to develop the best presenters in the industry, and we try to leave them confident that they can use the power of the voice, the message, the story, so they can grow their business, increase their influence, and make a positive impact in the world. Thank you very much. Again, all of you, our participants, Alice in the background, our 5 speakers. Let's keep in touch. All the very best. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.